Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I will begin my speech with a famous quote that has been said by a renowned American psychiatrist, Dr. William Glasser. We learn 10% of what we read, 20% of what we see, 50% of what we see and hear, 70% of what we discuss, and 80% of what we experience. Today, I will be informing my audience about the differences of the teaching methods of economics that has been used in Indian high schools and American high schools. High schools that will be discussed in my speech range from grades 9 to grades 12 specifically. Firstly, I will be talking about the teaching methods of economics in Indian high school and its drawbacks. Secondly, I will be doing the same for the American high schools. And thirdly, I will wrap up my speech with a conclusion. I personally have taken an economics course in an American high school, but I'm sure it differs if one takes an economic course in an Indian high school. The sources that I have used to create my speech mainly come from journal articles, a handbook for all economic teachers, which is a famous book in India and it's widely implemented in the country, and the US Department of Education, that is to promote student achievement and promoting educational excellence and ensuring equal access. Ladies and gentlemen, economics itself is such a dynamic subject that touches our lives daily. We are exposed to economics at every step of our lives, ranging from whether we want to buy a pair of shoes to taking a bank loan. Now, I will be talking about the teaching methods of economics in Indian high school, and that will be my first point. In India, only few subjects are considered to be lucrative, and economics is one of them. Economics was introduced in schools in India more than 80 years ago. Students who may not wish to pursue this course after the higher secondary stage, the national curriculum in India for economics prepares students to observe economic institutions like the family, the market, and the state. The economic teachers in India are well versed with the subject. There are many universities and institutions in India which provides training to teachers on how to deliver this course to the students specifically. The syllabus is reviewed according to the perspective of the people. Students are made to realize that they are the building blocks of the nation and they are the next generation of India. They are equipped with the basic tools of economic and statistics to analyze economic issues. The teaching is structured around relevant models of the economy, and students get a reality-based check, a reality-based feeling on how to apply the knowledge to their daily lives. However, there are drawbacks to the teaching methods of economics in Indian high schools. The problem is, in India, memorization technique is used to learn instead of thinking and being creative. There is a serious need to develop critical thinking skills in Indian high schools. The textbook that has been introduced by the Indian Board, the National Council of Educational Research and Training, NCERT, gives facts based on practical experiences rather than by logic, and moreover, it is not complete. The textbooks have to be changed, and the element of economic education has to be inserted. The syllabus between grades 11 and grades 12 is totally disconnected, therefore creating a gap in learning. My first 2 points were in regards to the teaching methods of economics in Indian high schools and its drawbacks. Now the tables have turned to do the same for the American high schools. In the US, the Teach the Teacher initiative is a 5-day program which aims at helping teachers to understand the economic content and improve pedagogy. The US Secretary of Education, Margaret Spellings, said, "Highly skilled teachers are the key to closing the achievement gap and leaving no child behind." The US Department of Education's Teacher-to-Teacher initiative is helping teachers strengthen their skills by increasing opportunities to engage in frequent professional development. Active involvement and variety of instructional methods are used, and students are taught ways to implement the economic knowledge in their daily lives. Teachers are trained to understand the economic content, to learn the economic content, how to teach through a well-designed course, and how to use high-quality curriculum material. Another way of attracting students towards economics that the American high schools have adopted is very interesting because they have used the use of watching sports, ESPN 30 for 30 series. Researchers say that this is an active pedagogical tool. This sport tool is beyond just sports. It is about film, sport, and history. Researchers have also studied that students watching the sport team, it creates a buzz in their minds and it kicks in the passion for economics. This has allowed students to develop an economic way of thinking and retaining economic concepts more successfully. As a result, this creates an active learning environment in all the classrooms amongst the students. However, there are drawbacks to the teaching methods in American high schools. In the US, economics has started since the year of 1990, a bit late as compared to Indian high schools. The schools lack economic education. There are not enough teachers who would want to adopt economics as a discipline. Every state in the US has developed its own syllabus from grades 4 to grades 12 based on the National Center on Education and the Economy, NCEE standards. Till date, ladies and gentlemen, there are 50 states where economic education does not exist. 50. Students are trained in understanding the system of its own economy and are given little exposure or minimal exposure to the economic theory. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau believes that schools must provide opportunities for students to take economics in high school, mainly due to practice of money management and understanding the global economy even better. I have described the advantages and disadvantages of the teaching methods of economics in Indian high schools and American high schools. I would like to wrap up my speech with a conclusion stating the fact that the bottom line is, in Indian high schools, they do have recent case studies where students can relate to, and they're very much more exposed to the outside world and to the global economy. However, the basis is on memorization. The foundation is on rote learning. In contrast to the American high school, they have used the Teach the Teacher initiative and the use of watching sports, especially ESPN 30 for 30 series, to engross students towards economics. However, ladies and gentlemen, they are not exposed to the outside world. They do lack economic education, at least 50 states do for a fact. I would like to end my speech with a note, ladies and gentlemen. Economics is more than just money. In fact, it is about understanding the kinds of decisions you make and the reasoning behind it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Questions?
Questions also?
No questions? I have a few questions. I was a bit confused in your speech. So how is it taught in India? You didn't actually tell us how the teaching goes of economics. I didn't register that. The other question I had was, if it's missing in 50 states in the United States, so where is it taught in the way that you're describing?
In the other states.
There are 50 states in total.
Okay.
Right? I mean, where is it taught in the states?
What do you mean, where is it taught? In high schools.
But what states? Since you're saying
no, I don't
50
need
states.
specific ones.
No, but if 50 states don't teach economics, those are the states of the United States.
Okay.
That's all of them.
Then I must have got something wrong.
That's fine, but because one of the problems is in your research, and I'm sure you've done research, but it's not in the speech. you don't tell us about your sources. So I'm left confused as to where the content is coming from, right? I mean, the examples are good. The sports example, the introduction is fantastic. Your delivery is very confident. At some points, there's intensity that's not appropriate to the content. So we'll talk about that a bit later. But my major concern is the information, because there wasn't enough grounding for the information. I didn't really know where it was coming from. And the other problem was that it was a bit too evaluative as well. You were giving values. The point of the informative is that we don't give values. We don't say what's better. We don't say what should change.
How about according to the researchers, that's what they've said?
But that's not what we heard. I'm telling you just as a receiver, okay, what I heard. So, I mean, these would be my negative comments. But other than that, you did a superb job delivering the content. Extremely confident. Eye contact was amazing. You got them to listen. You got them to be engaged. You got them to focus, and that's fantastic. So, minor problems with delivery, but delivery itself was great. We need to just work on the content itself so that it's more speech than essay, right? Like the exercise we did last time. And that it's more supported obviously by sources within the actual speech.
Professor, I'm sorry, can I say something? I remember the first question you have for is how Indians actually teach. I think it's by two things. At first, they give them the real thing of how they teach, but then it's memorizations, and this is not
that's a drawback, the memorization.
Yeah, but then how they teach is isn't it by memorization?
No, but the thing is that I understand what's your this thing, because I've mentioned the methods that has been used in American high schools, but not in India.
But not in the
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So do they teach them